Okay, here we are at the STEP conference at our pop-up studio of Poddster. Pop-up studios go around the world. We were at the Web Summit, we were at JITEX, we were at a lot of conferences here in the region, and now we are at STEP conference, which is mostly about startups, but also about media. And this is why we have Richard FitzGerald. Richard, hello and welcome to our pop-up studio.
Thanks, Evan. Good to be on the Poddster podcast at STEP conference. Nice to be here.
But you did a lot of media work here. You did interviews, you did fireside chat moderation, your teams are working around. And just to present you to our viewers who you are, actually what you do, because your work speaks for itself, and it's Loving Dubai.
Yeah, Loving Dubai, yeah.
Richard, Loving Dubai. I think everybody would know that and so on. And how long the Loving Dubai exists? Since 2000?
Yeah, but we started in 2015, and at the time media was getting a lot of reach on Facebook, and there was new media channels were opening up a lot, and there weren't that many in the region. There was only the sort of traditional media, which were very good and very well established, but there weren't that many modern media brands trying to do things like, whether it's now we're having lots of podcasts and newsletters, and
just a little bit. Okay.
Now we're having lots of podcasts on YouTube and vertical video, but back then, the hot things at the time was kind of BuzzFeed and things like that. So we took our cue from that. We actually licensed it from a friend of mine in Dublin, and then made it work here. Like, no one had heard of it, but we saw good reactions in the first month. We wrote listicles like 23 reasons you need to visit Dubai once before you die, and like all these sort of things that just sort of people, when I would meet them, they would say, "Oh, I've seen your website," but we didn't tell people what Lovin' Dubai is. We just created viral articles and sometimes promoted those articles and let people read the articles. So back then it really was Facebook and a website.
Blogging, but now it's a media powerhouse. I don't know whether if Dubai problems will complain about but it is. Loving Dubai is really a media powerhouse, I would say.
The reach
Digital
is
media.
big. Yeah, the reach is big. Like reach in media can be. Loving Dubai in itself is the tagline is loving your life. It's populist mainstream media. We talk about communities and people. So people send us lots of stories. And our Loving Dubai show in the morning, we always have guests on who are either influencers or not known, but they're part of what happens here. We don't go for the big celebs. We don't try and talk about things in the US. Like it is what it is. It's positive about Dubai, but it's trying to capture what's happening in Dubai every day, and it's grown. Yeah, like we have 16 cities now across the region.
Oh man!
So there's Lovin, there's 4 and 5 in Saudi, 4 in UAE, but we've even stretched. We have 3 in Pakistan. We're in Khartoum in Sudan, Muscat, Doha, Bahrain, Cairo. So, and we have local journalists in all these cities who love where they're from, who are doing the same thing, and I think that's what's authentic about it.
Understanding the needs and what people would like to read about and so on. I can confirm on my social media channels the most watched videos are about Dubai, living in Dubai, starting a company in Dubai, finding a job in Dubai, how much does it cost living in Dubai, and I think those are the topics that you're handling. But how it was, because this is the Change podcast and the Change Officer podcast, and we are talking about the change. So your change was coming from the agency background to switch to the media, which is kind of, pretty much the same, but not the same, because now you have a product. You have an IP of something that is growing and that you can sell and resell and resell and redo and so on and get the traction of people.
There is definitely change. I'm not the example of someone who moved from, legal corporate world to do sort of fitness and to, but like even if you're doing something for 10, 15 years for clients and you're doing marketing, to change your head how you think about what you do every day. And that was the little shift that I had to, but then there's many nuances to the change of going from, I was regional head of social media for Mindshare. My clients were Nissan, HSBC, the biggest clients in the region. I was managing 30 people across the region in a company of 400 or 500 people. We did big pitches for telcos. We did all this sort of stuff. And then suddenly and when I win a piece of business, it's a retainer. I do content calendars. We commoditized it. We made margins. We had 30 trilingual graduates in Beirut doing community management. We were doing pages from Iraq to Tunisia, all from the one thing. There was lots of problems with it, but it made money. And so I sort of, and I did that in Ireland and in UK and then across the region here. So when I started Loving Dubai, from that first article and from that first month, I knew that we had a product that fit. I knew that we had an audience, but it took me 18 months to sort of leave another startup I was with, or 6 months, and then 18 months to make any money and replace the editor. And at that time, I'd already put $140,000 in that I scraped around from friends and stuff, and whatever I had savings, and it was that all that money was gone, right? And to survive, I won a few social media retainers like Infinity Middle East, Lavazza, a few of those ones, and that was the retainer piece. But I knew that that's not what I wanted to fall into a trap. I wanted to prove that modern media, that local news, that digital media could be a viable business, that journalists, when they leave university, don't have to go over to marketing, like Talk About Change. They don't have to pretend they're journalists and work in PR. They can actually be journalists, and that's really what I tried to prove, that if we can generate an audience, then how can we, in this fragmented media world, how can we be commercial savvy enough to monetize in whatever which way? With Lovin Dubai, we did it with native content. We put our hosts into the content, and we guarantee the views. So if it was 5,000 unique views of an article, that's better than getting coverage, right? Because
Exactly.
the restaurants would book with us if we show them the analytics, because then they know it's hyper local, they know it's a certain affluency who reads Love in Dubai, and they see the footfall. We don't compete with Facebook. The difference, they have performance marketing, lower funnel, CPC things, like all these big tech giants do on advertising. But what they can't do is they can't put a host in a restaurant. There's no creativity with what they can do. It's bids, it's CPCs. So we never did. Ivan, sorry.
Yeah. No, please.
We never did the VC thing. We never, like BuzzFeed raised that money at a 1.7 billion valuation. We didn't, because I learned from the little startup that I joined in between Mindshare and this that, I didn't like being in a company that had burn rates and was spending X dollars a month. I didn't sit comfortable with me. So with Love in Dubai and with Augustus Media, I wanted to make margins each month. Like if I run a restaurant, at any given month, it's how much food your chefs can produce versus what people can. Well, the market will pay for that in any given month, and that's kind of that's the change that I did. I run it like I did an agency, but as you point out, it is different because there is IP, and you are project based, and you are sort of you are thinking of the audience as well as your customers.
This is it. You have to gather the audience, and then what you do with that audience, and if you understand their true needs, then you can offer them something that they really need, and they can be compliant to the clients you have. On the other hand, just talking about that change, you were on in the Mindshare, and you were on a big position, and you had a lot of people under you, and so on. And at what point you switched to Loving Dubai? Was it at the point, like when it started bringing some revenue or some profit, or was it a bit before that and so on? Was it
I was 32. I'd been working for 10 years. I used to have restless nights. I'd wake up and say, I need to do something. I need to set up my own business. I would feel this anxiety. And I always talked to some people about setting up an agency, a real-time agency. I used to work with We Are Social in London. Like I saw the global social media agency trend, and I thought, I want to do that. And I never did. And I nearly did in Dublin, and then I learned with all these agencies and all this experience that I got, being shouted at by clients and understanding everything and the business side and winning pitches and confidence. I couldn't speak to clients when I was 25, but by 32 I could, and my confidence was there. So that was the right time for me to set up an agency. But I didn't set up an agency, and what I did was there was a supplier in our company. They were called Brandster, and they did AI bot technology for Twitter, and I used them for some clients to amplify things. And I saw that I saw potential in it. So I pitched him that I would join him as MD. I did, and they raised a lot of money and they kind of petered out and failed. But even there, I was, pitching social media agencies. Like we won the Nikhil Mould, a client there, because I wanted to make money for the business. Like I didn't understand this concept of, this lifestyle stuff. I just didn't understand it. So that was the transition. But the same summer that I joined that, I got an NOC from him and I set up Augustus Media and DMCC with Astrolabs. I was at the 10-year anniversary of Astrolabs last night, and we joined in 2015 there, registered Augustus Media, licensed Love in Dubai, and saw that it had potential. So it was a phase. First of all, I had the soft landing, although it didn't feel soft. I left my high-paid job. I joined a startup on less money, but I had equity. But I put all my money into the other company.
Your equity, yeah. Your company.
And then I hired 2 expensive hires before we had any money, and I was paying for them each month, and I was like, I was suffocating because it was like it was too much pressure, but I got through it.
but when we talk about startups, when we talk about entrepreneurship, you said you didn't want to have a runaway. You didn't want to spend money. You always wanted to have this, as I said, margin and whatnot. But definitely you started with some money, and this is what we think that it is. I think personally, people have to realize you have to have something. At the beginning it was family and friends, as you said. You scraped a little bit from here and there, and you had something to start with, because usually people think, oh, we will start and then in the second month we will be profitable. No, you said it, 18 months it took you to become, established.
I think it depends on your business. I think definitely we didn't raise any more money since then. Everything is profit. Since then we reinvest. So that was the only equity that ever left the business. And it wasn't a lot of money for, we did $7 million gross revenue last year. So, we've grown a lot, and we've done it by reinvesting and going step by step. And one of the other reasons we haven't raised money is because people don't value the modern media in the way that they do other tech sectors. But going back to the money part, sometimes people can open an agency tomorrow and have a client in the service industry.
Exactly.
But not in what we were doing. You need to build an audience first, and you can do that on the side, but it took me 18 months. No, we built an audience pretty quickly, but it took me 18 months
to monetize on that.
Yeah. It took
But you have a product now, and I think that is the key. But this is not the only product you have. You also have a platform for video on demand. Is it?
Exactly. Yeah. We position ourselves as a broadcaster, publisher, modern media company, text, audio, and video. In a similar space that you guys are in, and we're just part of that ecosystem. And what we wanted to do is build our own IP. So Love in Dubai and the Love in Abu Dhabi and Love in Sharjah, Love in Cairo, Love in Riyadh, Love in Jeddah. These are all our IPs, right? And then we thought, okay, well, what's adjacent? So we thought we don't want to dilute the Love in brand. We don't want to do Love in food, Love in business, Love in whatever. Because if we did that, we might get, say we had a really popular Instagram account, Love in Sports, and we were doing viral stuff in English on sports. With that name, where would our audience be? It wouldn't be in the region. It wouldn't be in Dubai.
No,
it would be in the US maybe.
Yeah. Yes. And the thing is, with the background of formatted TV shows and licensed TV shows around the world, what they're actually doing is what you are doing, localizing things.
Yes.
So you have a different host, you have different approaches, you have different mentality and the tradition to respect and so on. But you have a gamification which is pretty much the same. As you said, Loving Dubai. You cannot work with the people from Dubai to work for Cairo, Egypt. Yes, you can some stuff like programming and so on, but the soul of the Loving Cairo are people in Cairo understanding what is going on there. That's
exactly.
That's definitely.
And what we did with Smashy TV, we thought, okay, streaming is getting bigger, but let's create another IP. And Lovin' is Lovin' Your Life, as I mentioned. Smashy is for the driven, the dreamers, the doers. It's on the thesis that there's a young cohort in the region who want economic prosperity. And it goes down with Augustus Media. Our mission is to become the modern media company of choice in the region. So very specifically geographically and very specifically with media formats. So we thought, well, let's create a brand that suits that. Like Lovin suits, our media lens for Lovin is positive. It suits the media guidelines in the region. The location suits the region. And Smashy hopefully suits that, why are we streaming at Smashy Business at Step? Because there's people like you and entrepreneurs and smart people here. But it led us to other things, like the 24-hour linear thing didn't work. So we made Snapchat shows in Saudi. We have massive Snapchat shows in Arabic from our Riyadh office with young Saudi creators on Smashy. We have a podcast, we have newsletters, but we also have the app.
How is that going? That's kind of. Is it a marketplace? No, marketplace. It's a video on demand.
It's video on demand. It wasn't going well. Even to be honest, we were 3 years. We had 9 subscribers. We didn't.
9.
We had 9 in August after 3 years.
Wait. And now how much you have?
We have 450 because we bought a company that has AI cameras, and we stream live from the sports. We have the Federation rights for futsal, volleyball and handball, and we're starting small. We have aspirations to have the biggest sports in the region. We want Smashy to be the leading sports streaming service, plus other content. So we want other content on the platform as well.
So it's can you spell Smash?
Smashy, Smashi. Smashy.
Smashy. Okay,
Yeah,
and I
TV.
am searching for it, and I will install. I will be 451st subscriber to it.
Legend. Thank you.
I think that you are kind of a bridge, because having a background in radio and TV, which is traditional media, they're there still definitely, and they will always be there in some manner. But there is a big gap between social media influencers or social media and then scripted, unscripted content and so on need the place to be. And social media is not that, so I think that there is a future for Smashy. But on the other hand, did you thought about getting an investor for Smashy?
We did at the time, and 2 years ago I wanted a couple of million for Smashy for people to invest in it, but the valuations on it, and honestly, even I would have had to tell them I'm going to get 10,000 subscribers in a year to raise money, and I didn't. So, another thing is sometimes you need capex and opex and investment, but the vision for Augustus Media is a 10, 20, 30, 40, 50 year play. We don't necessarily, as soon as we go down the move fast and taking a lot of money, like people say, hey, if you put $5 million into Smashy, you'll get more subscribers. And I'll go, hey, but in Egypt, our office still doesn't have fiber network, and people still don't have 3G in certain parts of Egypt. So how are they going to subscribe? And anyway, they piracy everything. And anyway, so it's kind of like, I prefer, again, going back to that example of Brandster and the startup, it sits more comfortably with me, the principles of business. The making margins and making revenue.
But also one of the principles of business. I'm just saying, I bootstrap my company. But every other venture that I had, it helps when you have people that understand you. It's not about, let's get 2 million and do something with it. No, it's about getting the people who understand you, who can support you, even on that matter. And one thing that for businesses work or doesn't work is, do not invest in long-term investments from your short-term gain or cash flow.
Yeah,
it will jeopardize the company, and everything is there. And I really try to feel for people who are doing it, and really what you do is really brave. And but for, I don't know, there is this way or there is the other way, but
you can do both. I love how you do it, but I think the thing is about maturing as a business leader, right? So you can understand capital injections in different way, whether it's share issue, share sale, or equity. So we will, we've done some debt. At the right time, we'll take capital when we need it. But I think me understanding regional sports now, I understand that I can get connected TV. I understand that I can get subscription. But I don't yet fully, honestly understand the economics about the cost of producing this. I understand the cost of producing an Instagram post and the price on Lovin Dubai. Lovin Dubai, no problem. If I can build an audience, I know how to monetize it. In any city, I get it.
Yeah.
I don't fully yet know how streaming and sports in the region can make money. I know how I can make money, I don't know how I can make a profit. And for that, I'm not willing to waste more than I'm already wasted. So I need to be disciplined and I need to invest at the right time and figure it out.
Amazing advices, Richard. Thank you very much. I think there is a lot of topics to handle. Let's book one full-blown podcast in our studio and discuss all things Love in Dubai
Let's
and
do it.
all things Smashy.
Let's do it.
Thank
Thanks
you
a
very
lot.
much. Nice
Thank
meeting you,
Thank
Richard.
you. Thank you.